Let me ask you a question that may challenge everything you believe about your life. What if nothing you've prayed for has been denied, only timed? And what if the breakthrough you've been begging for is actually waiting for you to become ready for it? Think about it. You've had moments where you've asked, why hasn't it happened yet? Why is God taking so long? But what if the real question was never, when will God move? What if the real question is, when will I be prepared enough to receive what I've been asking for? Picture this moment. You're living your life, trying to stay faithful, trying to grow, trying to heal, but nothing seems to shift. An opportunity falls through. A plan collapses. A relationship breaks. Your confidence dips. Your hope thins out. And you start wondering if maybe you're doing something wrong. Or if maybe God overlooked you. But here's the bold truth most people never hear. Breakthroughs don't happen when you want them. They happen when you're aligned enough to hold them without breaking. Every elevation requires preparation. Every blessing requires capacity. Every breakthrough requires spiritual alignment. Modern neuroscience calls this readiness potential. Your mind must be rewired before your life can expand. Scripture calls it due season. Philosophy calls it kairos, the divine moment. Different languages. Same truth. You don't get the blessing when you ask for it. You get it when you can handle it. If that hits you, drop in the comments. I'm ready to be ready. Because today we're going to explore the 7 spiritual laws that determine when, how, and why breakthrough comes. This isn't about manifesting. This isn't about luck. And it has nothing to do with forcing outcomes. This is about alignment, capacity, identity, and spiritual maturity, the deeper architecture of breakthrough. Welcome to the truth behind divine timing. Let's begin. The law of preparation. Breakthrough begins before anything changes. Every breakthrough you will ever experience has a quiet beginning, a moment long before anything changes on the outside. It happens in the invisible space where God starts preparing you for what you've been praying to receive. Most people miss this moment because preparation doesn't look like elevation. It often looks like stillness, delay, silence, or even disappointment. But here's the truth behind every major transformation. Before God moves around you, He moves within you. Preparation is the first spiritual law of breakthrough because without it, nothing that comes next can be sustained. Think about nature. A seed is prepared underground long before it emerges. A butterfly is prepared in darkness before it ever flies. Even the sunrise begins while the world is still asleep. Everything sacred begins in the unseen. Spiritual traditions all point to this universal pattern. In Scripture, preparation always precedes assignment. David tended sheep before fighting giants. Moses wandered the desert before leading nations. In Stoic philosophy, discipline shapes destiny. Training creates character before life requires it. In neuroscience, preparation literally rewires the brain. You build new neural pathways before new behavior becomes possible. Across all frameworks, one truth remains. Breakthrough is not an event, it is a readiness. And preparation is the process God uses to shape that readiness. This is why certain doors didn't open earlier. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. Your character was strengthening. Your discernment sharpening. Your faith stretching. Your identity evolving. Preparation seasons often feel frustrating because your spirit knows you're made for more, yet your circumstances look unchanged. But what you cannot see is the work God is doing inside you, aligning, refining, equipping, maturing. Because here's the secret. God doesn't give you what you ask for. He gives you what you're ready for. And when preparation is complete, life begins to accelerate. Opportunities appear effortlessly. Doors you once had to knock on begin to open for you. People who resonate with your calling begin to find you. Momentum builds in ways that feel supernatural. Preparation is the quiet confirmation that breakthrough is already on its way. If this resonates, comment, "I'm preparing for what I prayed for." Speak it into your future. The law of capacity. You cannot receive what you don't have the capacity to hold. Here's a truth most people never consider. Breakthrough is not just about blessing, it's about capacity. God never gives you something that will crush you. He only gives you what you have become strong enough, wise enough, and mature enough to carry. Think about it. You don't hand a child the keys to a car. Not because the car isn't theirs, but because they aren't ready. A blessing given too soon becomes a burden. Spiritually, this is why Scripture says, "To whom much is given, much is required." Luke 12:48. It's not a warning, it's a blueprint. Every elevation requires deeper emotional, spiritual, and mental capacity. Neuroscience echoes this through the concept of load management. Your nervous system can only handle so much. Stress, responsibility, opportunity, pressure. If your internal bandwidth is small, big blessings feel overwhelming instead of empowering. Many people ask God for more, not realizing their life is already too full of noise, fear, resentment, old stories, and unhealed wounds. You cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. You cannot receive expansion in a life with no room. You cannot step into your future while clinging to your past. This is why breakthrough sometimes requires loss first. Why doors close before new ones open. Why people leave your life. Why certain things collapse. It's not sabotage. It's clearing. Breakthrough often begins with subtraction, not addition. Let me ask you a reflective question. Answer it in the comments if this hits. What is taking up space in your life that the next level cannot coexist with? Because when you release what's draining you, you create space for what's meant for you. Once your capacity expands, breakthrough becomes sustainable. And this brings us to the next spiritual law, the one most people avoid but is necessary for elevation. The law of surrender, the breakthrough only God can give. There is a breakthrough you can work for. There is a breakthrough you can prepare for. There is a breakthrough you can grow into. And then, there's a breakthrough that only God can give. This is the law of surrender, the moment where human effort ends and divine intervention begins. Surrender is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is not stepping back. Surrender is the highest form of spiritual strength. It is the decision to stop trying to control outcomes that were never yours to manage. It is the moment you stop wrestling with what God has already resolved. You know you've stepped into surrender when your anxiety gives way to trust. Your timelines give way to God's timing. Your fear gives way to obedience. Your need for answers gives way to peace. Your striving gives way to stillness. Surrender is the clearing that makes room for a miracle. Because as long as your hands are full of worry, control, assumptions, and self-protection, there is no space for God to place something new. Breakthrough requires participation, but it also requires permission. God will not force open a door you keep locking from the inside. He will not elevate you to a place your character refuses to grow into. He will not promote you into a season your fear still worships. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is letting go. Letting go of the outcome. Letting go of the fear. Letting go of who you thought you had to become. Letting go of the story you wrote, so God can write the one He intended. When you surrender, heaven moves faster. When you surrender, the delay breaks. When you surrender, the breakthrough that was blocked becomes the breakthrough that is unavoidable. The law of refinement. Delay is not denial, it is preparation in disguise. Every person who has ever reached a breakthrough first passed through a season they misunderstood. A season that felt like God was silent. Life was stagnant. Doors were closing. Nothing was moving. Prayers were unanswered. But here's the spiritual truth most people miss. God does His greatest work in you during the seasons that look the most motionless. Refinement is the divine process of strengthening what is weak, sharpening what is dull, and stripping away what cannot go with you to the next level. Think of a sword. It becomes strong not in spite of the fire, but because of the fire. Pressure shapes power. Heat creates resilience. Delay develops depth. In Scripture, refinement is beautifully captured in, "I will refine you like silver and test you like gold," Zechariah 13:9. God is not punishing you. He is polishing you. Neuroscience agrees. Growth is not created in comfort. It's created in neural stress, the small, manageable discomfort that forces your brain to form new pathways, new habits, and new emotional responses. You don't grow in seasons of ease. You grow in seasons of stretching. When life feels like it's not moving, you are the one being moved internally. Let me ask you something, and feel free to share in the comments. Has your waiting season been building strength in you that you didn't notice until now? Every delay has a purpose. To mature your character, to clarify your desires, to refine your faith, to make you ready. When God is preparing you, He slows you down so you don't arrive unprepared. But once the refinement is complete, something powerful happens. The path becomes clear. Which brings us to the next spiritual law. The law of alignment. When your inner world aligns, your outer world shifts. Breakthrough is not random. It is not luck. It is not accident. It is alignment. Life gives you what you are aligned with, not what you casually hope for. Alignment means your beliefs, your behaviors, your habits, your spiritual posture, and your emotional state all point in the same direction. Here's the biblical version. Seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. Matthew 6:33. Not seek comfort, not seek validation, not seek shortcuts. Seek alignment with God's order. Then everything else naturally flows. From a psychological perspective, alignment activates what neuroscientists call the reticular activating system, RAS, the brain's filter that determines what you notice, what opportunities you see, and what patterns you pay attention to. When your life is misaligned, the RAS works against you. You see obstacles instead of opportunities, fear instead of possibility, confusion instead of clarity. But when you align with purpose, your brain begins to filter the world differently. It pulls in what resonates with your new identity. Breakthrough becomes a byproduct of who you are becoming. Let me check in with you here real quick. What is one habit you know you need to align with your next level? Consistency, prayer, discipline, health, boundaries? Drop it in the comments. Declaring it creates accountability. Alignment creates momentum. And once momentum starts, you are already being elevated. But there is a deeper spiritual law, a law that explains why breakthrough feels delayed and why it often comes all at once. The law of release: you cannot rise carrying what's weighing you down. Have you ever wondered why some breakthroughs don't arrive until after you finally let something go? A relationship, a resentment, a habit, a fear, a version of yourself you've outgrown. It's not coincidence, it's spiritual architecture. The sixth spiritual law of breakthrough is the law of release, and it is brutally honest. God cannot fill hands that are already full. Full of bitterness, full of control, full of the familiar, full of what is slowly destroying you. Breakthrough requires space, and most people never experience it because they refuse to make room for what they've been praying for. Spiritual traditions all echo this law. Buddhism calls it non-attachment. Christianity calls it casting your burdens. The Stoics call it relinquishing what you cannot control. Neuroscience calls it synaptic pruning, the brain's ability to erase old pathways so new ones can form. Across all these traditions, the message is identical. You cannot step into a new season with the weight of an old one on your back. And yet holding on is our default survival mechanism. We cling to people who drain us because loneliness feels scarier. We cling to anger because it gives us the illusion of power. We cling to expectations because surrender makes us feel vulnerable. But listen, many of the delays in your life are not punishments. They are protection. Protection from walking into the future with things that would collapse under pressure. Protection from relationships not designed for where God is taking you. Protection from identities that were only meant to serve one chapter, not the whole book. Sometimes God removes things not to take from you, but to take what is taking from you. If this resonates, comment, "I'm releasing what's been blocking me." Declare it publicly. There's power in saying it. Look at the caterpillar. Breakthrough only begins when it stops clinging to the branch. Look at your own life. Every major transformation began with something or someone you had to release. Now, here's the part most people don't want to hear. Release is not an emotion, it is a decision. The feelings come later. The freedom comes after. When you finally let go of the bitterness, of the fear, of the past, your spirit becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. Your path becomes wider. Heaven responds to what you release because heaven has been waiting for you to make room. The law of release is simple. You must let go before you move forward. You must surrender before you receive. You must empty before you overflow. And once you do, the next spiritual law activates almost instantly. The law that explains why your life accelerates the moment you stop resisting the pruning. The law of momentum, how breakthrough multiplies once you move. Have you ever noticed that the hardest step is always the first one? Not the 10th. Not the 20th. The first. The moment after release and after you finally put down what was crushing your spirit. something extraordinary happens. Not instantly, not magically. But undeniably, you feel something shift inside you, a spark. A stirring, a quiet internal push that says, move now. That spark is momentum. The seventh spiritual law of breakthrough is the law of momentum, and it reveals a truth most people never realize. Breakthrough does not begin with clarity. It begins with motion. God does not steer a parked car. The universe does not accelerate what refuses to move. Your spirit cannot rise if your feet remain planted in fear. Momentum is what happens the moment you take one obedient step toward the direction God has been nudging you, even if you don't yet understand the full picture. All throughout Scripture and ancient wisdom, this law appears. Moses did not see the Red Sea part until he stepped toward it. Abraham did not receive the promise until he left what was familiar. The prodigal son wasn't restored until he got up. Movement activates miracles. And neuroscience confirms this. The brain rewards movement with dopamine, not when you finish the journey, but when you begin it. That initial action creates a feedback loop, strengthening the neural pathways that reinforce courage, clarity, and forward motion. In spirituality, this is called faith in action. In physics, it's called inertia. Objects in motion stay in motion. In your life, it is breakthrough, multiplying the moment you stop waiting for perfect conditions. Because the truth is this: you don't get momentum by preparing. You get momentum by starting. And once you start, doors open faster. Opportunities align quicker. Strength builds easier. The resistance that once felt immovable suddenly begins to crack. Not because circumstances changed, but because you did. Momentum is God's way of confirming that your release wasn't in vain. It's heaven's stamp of, keep going, you're finally moving in the right direction. And once momentum begins, it becomes increasingly difficult for old patterns to pull you back, because your spirit starts to remember what forward feels like. If this is speaking to you, comment, I'm stepping forward today. Declare that you are done waiting for perfect clarity. You are ready to move. But here's the deeper mystery behind this law. Momentum doesn't just move you. It attracts what is meant for you. Breakthrough compounds. Acceleration compounds. Growth compounds. Just because you have made it this far, I just want to appreciate you for staying here. And on that note, I'm going to give you a bonus. There's an eighth law that really takes you that much closer to your breakthrough. The law of embodiment, becoming the version of you God can bless. Breakthrough isn't something God simply hands you, it's something He grows in you. And this is where the eighth spiritual law becomes unavoidable. The law of embodiment. Embodiment is when you stop talking like the future you and start living like the future you. Some people pray for strength but live like victims. Some ask for abundance but think in scarcity. Some want a healthy relationship while carrying the wounds of the past into every new interaction. They want a new life while staying the same person. But God will never elevate the version of you that contradicts your calling. Embodiment means stepping into the identity God has already spoken over your life, even before you feel ready. It means letting your actions preach louder than your fears, your habits speak louder than your excuses, and your consistency become proof of your faith. It is choosing character when no one is watching. It is choosing discipline when no one is clapping. It's choosing faith when the evidence is still invisible. When you embody the next level, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and morally, you are telling heaven, I am ready. And heaven responds. Because God blesses who you are, not who you pretend to be. He blesses authenticity, integrity, growth, and alignment, not performance. Embodiment is not about perfection, it's about direction. It's about waking up each day and choosing to show up as someone who refuses to shrink back into an old identity just because it's familiar. Breakthrough begins the moment your identity shifts, not the moment your circumstances change. When you start carrying yourself like someone chosen, someone guided, someone capable, someone crowned, the world rearranges itself accordingly. Because God elevates the version of you that aligns with the future He's been preparing all along. Let's wrap it all up. Here's the truth we almost never say out loud. Most people never reach their breakthrough. Not because they're not worthy. Not because God didn't choose them. Not because fate was unfair. But because they stopped too soon. Breakthrough rarely arrives when you feel strong. It usually arrives when you feel exhausted, uncertain, bruised, stretched, undone. Every breakthrough has a birthplace, and it's not comfort. It's surrender. It's alignment. It's obedience. It's trust when nothing makes sense yet. It's standing at the edge of your fear and whispering, God, if you open the door, I'll walk through it. Because in the end, breakthrough is never just about what changes around you. It's about what changes in you. Your character expands. Your faith matures. Your soul strengthens. Your vision sharpens. Your identity finally aligns with what God always knew about you. This is why God waits. This is why He refines. This is why He tests, stretches, purifies, and strengthens. Not to break you, but to build you into someone who can hold the blessing without collapsing under its weight. So here's your final truth. Your breakthrough isn't ahead of you. It's already within you. Heaven is not waiting for the perfect moment. Heaven is waiting for your yes. The moment you stop replaying your past, stop doubting your calling, stop shrinking your spirit to fit the expectations of wounded people, stop delaying the life you were born to live. That's the moment everything accelerates. You're closer than you think. You're stronger than you know. And you're far more chosen than you realize. Now breathe. And let God do what only God can do. If this message moved you, don't leave without anchoring it. Type, "I'm ready" in the comments so heaven knows where to deliver your breakthrough next. And share this with someone whose spirit is on the edge of transformation.